All right. Hey, guys, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Leadership Stack Live, where we answer your questions about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management. And for today, we have a very special episode because we are bringing once again the master, the billionaire, Mr. Marvin Guermo. Surprise cast, guys, kasi hindi natin in-announce to dun sa post sa social media. But he's gonna join us here. And we have as well with us a very exciting, how do you say it? Trailblazer. He is a guy who is for me it's strange because I've never heard of this profession before, but he is a crypto lawyer. Okay? In Tagalog, abogado for cryptocurrency. He's lawyering for crypto companies out there, and I didn't know that existed. I'm quite surprised, maybe as surprised as you guys are. And we have him here, and we're gonna be asking him about something that he and his team are working on, which is a GameFi project. Maybe like Axie Infinity. You got a lot of you guys know Axie, and a host of other crypto games out there that are popping up. Nowadays, it's popping up like crazy. Dami ng bagong games. There's so many new crypto games out there that you can play to earn, and people have made money there. People have made money, and there are good ones and there are bad ones. And right now, we get a sort of sneak peek at what is going to be the future of crypto gaming, since a lot of Filipinos have gotten into it. So, without further ado, I want to welcome to the show Mr. Cliff Young.
Hey
Cliff,
guys, good to
how are
see
you
you.
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks
Where
for
where are you
hosting me.
located, Cliff?
Hong Kong, Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. All right. So, yeah, you excited?
Yeah, of course.
And we also have our special guest right now, who's one of the richest men on earth that I know, and he's here. There he is, Mr. Marvin Guermo.
Fake news, guys. Fake news. Fake news.
Master Marvin, where are you located?
I'm located in my wife's heart. So, man, same pa rin, Manila. Metro Manila.
Okay, okay.
Are we supposed to be formal today, or is this a casual type of interview talk?
It's just casual. It's just
Okay.
casual. I'm wearing a shirt. This one we're giving this one away. We drew the winner actually already. So yeah, I'm gonna be giving the shirt away. That's why I always wear a t-shirt here, and we're gonna do another raffle draw this week, and it's starting tonight.
Hmm.
So for those of you listening in, you want a free leadership stack t-shirt. This one we're giving away says motion before emotion. Inspiration comes after you act. We're giving that away. Next Thursday is gonna be the draw, and we're just gonna be shipping that over to you, or you could pick it. You could pick it up. There's the link down there if you want to join the raffle. We're giving leadership stack T-shirts away. So this one is the first one. Winner has already been declared, and we're shipping it to her tomorrow. All right. So guys, you ready? I'm just gonna be pouring in the questions. So we're talking about crypto gaming. Cryptocurrency is a big thing right now, isn't it? How many wallets are out there? 68 million, somewhere there, right?
I think the last time I saw it was around the number of Bitcoin wallets is around like 80 million. But
80
in
million.
terms of probably more than that if you take into account other protocol as well.
Wow, that's huge. That's
But but
that's
that,
also a lot of people already.
but there's more people still, because when you count the people in exchanges,
Yes.
what's not factored in is, when you look at the wallets, those are people that are transacting on chain. But others, when you look at Robinhood or Coinbase or Binance, then it becomes even bigger still. So it's just exciting. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah. Wow. So I guess one of the first questions would be, what's your outlook, Cliff, for crypto gaming? You know, a lot of people are asking themselves, should I invest in it? Does do people really make money long term out of it? Because like, if you look at some of the games, some of them are cheap when you get into them. Doesn't have to have a lot of investment, but some games like actually you gotta pony up like $4,000 in
Yeah.
pesos. That's like almost 200,000 pesos, which is a pretty hefty amount. It's pretty significant amount. So, what's your opinion on it? Is it sustainable? Are people gonna make their money back and then some? Can you quit your day job or maybe your business and just do crypto gaming long term?
Yeah. I think that's a very good question to start this, because if you look at the landscape of blockchain, it has been around for probably around more than 10 years already. But if you think about from the perspective of blockchain application, it really lacks an application that really takes blockchain to the masses. Because, say for example, a lot of the blockchain application in the past, it has always been finance. Like there are these DeFi concepts like TVL or liquidity mining, which are something that is pretty difficult for the general public to understand. And but if you compare that to NFT games or crypto games, these are actually the learning curve of playing a game is actually much lower. So that's why I think that it's a space that definitely is going to continue to grow. And if you look at currently, for example, the number of players who are playing Axie, which is the most popular NFT game out there, basically the number of users, daily active users, is just around 2 million players. If you compare that against globally, there are around 3 billion gamers over like worldwide. So that's why I think that for crypto gaming itself, it's only year zero because there are still a lot of players. Whether they're gamers or not, they haven't really been exposed to the blockchain gaming space yet. And if you think about what blockchain really brings changes to the gaming industry, is actually immense. The changes are so drastic that it's going to revolutionize the whole gaming industry. Because if you look at the traditional gaming space, if you do whatever games you want to do out there, whether it's a AAA quality title, you still have to pay 60% of your game revenue to basically some of these rent seekers, like game publishers, game publishing platforms like Steam, like an app store. So that's why if you apply the concept of blockchain, like things like NFTs, you basically returning all these value back to both the players as well as the game developers. And now that player, because enabled by the NFTs, they finally have true ownership of the in-game asset. So if you look at the landscape of how these in-game transactions work, globally, I think there is around US $100 billion spent on these in-game transactions every year. But at the end of the day, the players actually they don't own any in-game assets at all. They own nothing, having spent so much money to play the game that they like. So that's why the concept of NFTs alone is actually going to change the gaming industry, whether from the perspective of from the perspective of the game developers, or from the perspective of the players themselves. So that's why I think it's only the beginning that you see that games like Axie kind of pop since January or June this year, but it's definitely there is still a way of there is still way more rooms to grow.
Right. Wow, 3 billion gamers, huh? It's like
Yeah,
almost half of the world populations are gamers today.
yeah,
What maybe one of the biggest questions that a lot of people who are thinking about getting into this. So you mentioned earlier that when you play a game, a specific game, they make the money. The owners of the game, the developers, designers, whoever it is, generally they make the money. And once you put your money in, that's it. It's gone. It's theirs, right? You can't get that out. You don't earn anything when you play or when you win. When it comes to a lot of crypto games today, like Axie, you make money whenever you play. One of the things that struck me early on was how does the developers or the owners make money if they're giving that money back to the players when they achieve certain things? How are they still going to generate their fortune, how is it going to be sustainable for both the owners of the game, the designers, and the players to make money long term? So what's your take on that?
I think it really depends whether you have a good tokenomics design in terms of the token behind the game that you are developing. Because the concept around all these pay to earn games, it's basically firstly the money spent by the players is actually going to be returned to them in some way. Especially a lot of the players at the same time, they're also the token holders for the token underlying the project. So that actually becomes a positive feedback loop, where as the number of player grows, the value retained or poured by the players into the ecosystem backed behind the token also grow at the same time. So that is something that you don't traditionally see in the gaming space, because no matter how large a game publisher or game developer is in the conventional gaming world, all of the money spent by the players actually they got captured only by the game developer, and ultimately, which means a lot of these game developers actually listed companies. So all those monies get actually they distributed to the or the value of those all of the money spent by the players actually accrued to the shareholders. They are leaked to the shareholders of the listed companies rather than returned to the players either in the form of appreciation in the token price or the appreciation of the value of the NFT asset. So yeah, I think this business model is just completely different compared to how the traditional gaming space works.
Got it. Ikaw, Master Marvin, what have you ever invested in crypto games? Like, do you play?
Uh,
Do you play?
I tried here and there, and then other tokens as well. But it's fascinating, no? And I like Cliff's point earlier about making it sustainable, and because if the game is not if the game is not sustainable, and if it's not also something that people enjoy playing, then 2 months down the line, 4 months down the line, 8 months down the line, you might see people stop actually playing, and it doesn't become as interesting anymore. So um, it's nice if as we see this go along over the next few years, that games that will be built, people really really enjoy playing it, and then, oh, I'm actually earning from it. I'm actually I'm actually getting something off of it, and that's what will make it very very exciting as well. But I wanted to comment on what Cliff said, which is amazing. I think NFTs are, they're the game changers in all of this, because they allow you to have ownership of those particular assets. And I know I don't know if you know this, Cliff, but Shansi has spent fortunes in all of his games, but the fortunes that he spent in it, he you can't take it out, and you can't take it out anywhere. But now, because it's NFTs, suddenly whatever you invested in, you have equity in it, that you have the possibility that if I don't like this game anymore, you can sell it, or you can park it, or it's something that can hold value. And I think that's a game changer, because now you're not just playing games also for fun. You're building on something. So imagine if I had that possibility when I was younger, playing Galaga and Star City, or Battleship City, or Tank City, something like that. Uh, Mario,
Galaga and Snake.
then or and then Mario Brothers. Imagine if you could make money by playing Mario Brothers in family computer. It would be amazing. But yun, so this younger generation, they will have so much options to not just enjoy, not just play, but also we will see a bunch of revenue streams that will come out over the next decade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
what
When you look at the player engagement as well, in terms of the NFT games compared to the traditional games, because a lot of the players when they spend money on buying these NFT assets, they're actually considering what they spend is an investment. So not only they're gonna spend more in terms of buying this in-game asset, their level of engagement with the games also is going to drastically increase as well, because now that they think they are part of the community. They're actually part of the owner of the game as well. So they get a piece of pie in the game. So that's why they can spend way more time not only to play the game itself and also helping to grow the ecosystem of the game. So a lot of these some of these games know that how to make a GameFi project well. They understand the importance of having these games, having these players, whether they want to form a guild or a team. So they want everyone to play together, and that level of engagement also becomes viral as well. Because when you are part of the owner of the game, you will actually spend way more time to just tell all your friends around saying that this is something that you need to try. So yeah, this is something I also find it's really a completely different landscape compared to the traditional game. Well, a lot of the players who spend, they will only consider that whatever they spend is just an expense. So when they're bored with the game, they're not going to care about it anymore.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have a question for Cliff. Just a follow up to what he said. A lot of people are playing right now because we're on a lockdown, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, people are just playing right now because everyone's at home. There's the coronavirus, and then there's a new variant. That's why people will stay." What's your sense on where do you think this is going post virus? Is this just a fad because we're all at home, or is this something that okay, we're out, we're back to normal again? Do you think people will continue playing still?
I think it's just that a lot of because GameFi or NFT games is just a few months old. So that's why a lot of people would think it in that way. It's just because most of the NFT games out there are just not the kind of games that resemble the traditional type of game that you're going to play all day on your phone and on your PC. But I think it's just something temporary. It's just like the early days of the internet. You find that you're not going to see like huge internet companies or websites that resemble what you're seeing today, right? So that's why I think it's just something transitionary. It's something that will pass soon. So what everyone is actually waiting for, it's a game that is so fun to play. That is exactly the kind of game produced by a professional game development team that it's just like the kind of normal good quality games that you play on your phone every day. And also alongside with sophisticated tokenomics design embedded in, that's going to take gaming, NFT gaming to the next level. So at the end of the day, what's going to happen is that a lot of the players of those games, especially when they're recommending the games to people around them, you're not going to say, this is a game that you can make money. They're going to say something like, you know what, you really should try this game. This is so fun to play. By the way, there's a chance that you can earn some money by playing this game as well. So I think this is something that's going to happen in the next few months or next few years.
Exciting.
Unemployment's going down. Some people, no, I think some people will do it full time. Really, if they can play and make money. Because look, there are some people in our world today who think like this. You know what? I want to make money and retire so that I can play the games I want to play. Right? There are people like that. They love playing computer games, but if you're going to be combining your work and money making with playing the game that you would want to play, why would you need to wait until retirement? Do that full time, right? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
And right now, how you make money through the traditional games is if you sell the entire account, right? Which is, really honestly, it's a big hassle if you're going to be selling your entire account with all of the equipments there that you bought and stuff, and you usually would sell it at a loss.
Yeah.
Never would. Yeah, I don't think there's ever a case where you sell your entire Mobile Legends account or League of Legends account or World of Warcraft account for a profit. I don't think that's the case. You would always sell it at the loss, at the
Yeah.
loss of time, at the loss of money, whatever it is, you'd sell it at the loss. Now, there are so many games that's launched out there already. How do you distinguish between the good ones where it's going to go the distance long term and you're going to be able to make money out of it? something like Axie, right? I mean, it's 3 years and it's still there, and people are still making money somehow out of it. Versus the not good ones, which is what Master Marvin mentioned earlier. 2 months, 4 months in, they're gone. People would just say this isn't worth my time. It's not fun, and it's gonna tank, and people exit. How do you differentiate? How do you find out those good ones?
Yeah, I think there are a few factors that you can easily identify whether some of these games are going to be sustainable in the long term. So firstly, of course, look at the quality of the project, because I see that a lot of there are hundreds, even thousands of crypto games out there. They're just kind of web interface games where what you have to do every day is basically just go on to this website and then click 10 buttons, and then you're gonna earn maybe 50, like a 10 USD equivalent. So I mean, in that kind of circumstances, really ask yourself, is it really there? Like, is it possible there is something like free lunch in the world? It's not possible, right? So these are apparently these are very apparent that these are Ponzi schemes. So you're only earning your 10 USD because there are more players coming in who are buying the NFT asset to pay you off because you're just an earlier entry, earlier player than the players that are coming in down the road. So yeah, just a lot of these games actually they're not really a game. They're kind of like a farm that you just click every day, and everything really depends on how many new players coming in. So that's the first thing that you have to watch out for. Really look at whether that game has a long-term roadmap to build itself as a true game versus whether it's gonna stay as this web interface. Or I mean, if you really want to, if you have a good team, really want to build a NFT game that it's sophisticated enough, you wouldn't even start off building like something like a web game like this, right? So this is one thing that you have to watch out for. And secondly, I think it's also very important that you look at the quality of the team behind the games that they're building, because you can see that a lot of teams behind the crypto games nowadays, they're kind of these anonymous team. So everyone gonna use an avatar like a crypto punk or like a Basie, and then they gonna have these pseudo names. But you can't really fact check whether they really have game development experience before, right? Maybe they're just a bunch of people that just want to ride on the wave of NFT games, and then because everyone's talking about crypto games, NFT games, so that's why they want to do a project just to get some make a quick buck as well. So this is something that definitely watch out for. Do due diligence. Make sure that you check out the team, check out the social as well, to make sure they really have real game development experience. There are also a lot of projects where the team behind is actually a team that used to do other crypto projects like a decentralized finance projects, but it's a completely different thing. Like, even if you can run a very good DeFi project, it doesn't automatically mean that you can build the right team to do a game project, right? Doing a game project is actually much more difficult. There are way more different, a diverse set of skills of people that you need to onboard compared to doing a DeFi project where the most important element probably is going to be the smart contract side of things. So yeah, even if you see there is this game project where they have a lot of experience doing blockchain projects, it doesn't necessarily mean that they can run a good crypto game project. So that's a second thing. I mean, thirdly, most important is actually look at the tokenomics design around the tokens. Whether it's something like, for example, you can see a lot of NFT games out there that only have these player versus enemy, in other words, PvE elements. So if a game doesn't really have any player versus player element at all, basically you can see that essentially all of the play to earn rewards, it's like a zero-sum game between the game project team and the players. Because whatever the players are earning, they all come out from the project foundation. And the game is it's going to collapse really fast if the players are not willing to reinvest whatever they have earned through the play to earn rewards. So having a robust tokenomics design, especially how you're going to deal with these growth of the NFT supply, because that is completely expected, right? As the number of player grows, there are going to be more people coming into the game and buying the NFT asset to play the game as well. So whether that game actually feature some kind of NFT burn mechanism to make sure that there is no blowout supply of the NFT as the number of players grow, it's also something very important to keep a well-balanced and sustainable, like long-term sustainable economics. Because if you look at some of the games, they never put a cap on the supply of the NFTs. But the value of NFT all hinges on the rarity of the NFT, right? So when you have 10,000 players in your game, maybe you're gonna have 10,000 NFTs. But as the number of players grows to 100,000 players, then there could be 10 times more the NFT. So can you really expect that those NFT that have been minted can be sold at the same price? Probably not, right? Because the rarity of the NFT already drops a lot now that everyone owns it. So that's why whether there is any deflationary tokenomics, that's going to have some NFT burn mechanism embedded in the game design. It's also something very important to watch out for. And in fact, not a lot of crypto game projects out there do pay attention to this part, which is actually very sustainable for the long-term prospect of any NFT game project.
Yeah, I think like, I don't know, 95, 99% of all NFT games out there don't have a PvP aspect of the game. So, with what you said, that it's a zero sum game where if people are winning profits, it's getting taken out of the game development team. That's not a very comforting thought. Because, yeah.
Yeah.
So, so what you're saying right now is the PvP element is actually a critical, it's a critical factor for a
Yes.
long-term sustainable game.
Because if you imagine what happens if a game only have the PvE element, it's that there's only two things going to happen. In a context where there's only one token for the game, the supply is fixed, which means the pool of the play to earn reward is also fixed. So what's going to happen when more players come in? It's more players actually going to be sharing the same pool. So everyone's return is going to decrease. And what usually happens is that the developer will actually keep kind of cutting the play to earn rewards that every player can earn using, even if they have the same NFT assets. So that's the most common situation that's going to happen, especially for those games that only feature a single token model. But even for games that feature a dual token model, what's going to happen is that the in-game currency, usually there's a separate token that is minted upon the players earning the play-to-earn rewards. If more players come in and they don't reinvest whatever they've earned back into the ecosystem, what's going to happen is that a lot of these play-to-earn rewards will be minted until a situation where there's oversupply of the in-game currency token out there. So what's going to harm to the players is not in the form of draining the reward pool, but every day you can earn the same amount of reward, but the token price will just keep tanking. Right. So yeah, I think that's really the problem that I see for a lot of crypto game projects that haven't put a lot of thought into designing the tokenomics.
Yeah, that's like a good warning to a lot of people out there who are investing heavily into crypto games without good tokenomics or the economics behind the token structure. Okay, before I move forward, Master Marvin, go ahead.
I just wanna say this to people who are watching so that they get the entire context of this. They can't just keep on printing and making tokens because it will just keep on devaluing it. So please take the time to understand the games that you are investing in also, because if you look at it, more coins or tokens that are created from scratch, then similar to what's happening to the dollar, you print more dollars, they exist, you get somehow diluted, and the value for which it was a day ago, you create more, it becomes lesser. And the reason why the reason it could be sustainable is if the reward gets used and it can be reused in game. But if it's just something that people are just swapping because, and then they bring it back to fiat, then then there won't be any value for the long term. The long term, I think the long term mechanics for it won't be so strong.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. It's just simple economics, right? At the end of the day, if you think about it, that's the way it's gonna go. We have a shout out here from Nino. Thanks for being here, Nino. I'm excited. I hope you learn a lot, and I hope you get a lot out of this episode that we have here tonight. Vernie, thanks for being here. Ron says, "Yeah, Do you have white paper? White paper. Cliff and his team are working on the project. I do think they have a white paper. You might want to PM him on LinkedIn for that, Ron. And yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's very exciting.
yeah.
Very
Stay
exciting.
tuned for the update. Stay tuned for the update.
Yeah,
We
stay
haven't
tuned
released
for the
that yet.
update. There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, we got some questions here. I have a question from an audience. What made you combine gaming and NFTs? Yeah,
I
so gaming and NFTs goes
I
hand in
think
hand.
yeah, I think I can take that. It's it's just so natural that NFT should be combined with something that has utilities on a day-to-day basis. Because if you think about the history, the more recent history of NFT is more on the artwork front of things. So if you recall what happens, like earlier this year, you've got all these news around these Beeple art selling for 60 mil USD. And yeah, but what ultimately happens is that it's I'm not saying that it's not good or it doesn't worth it, but the problem with NFT artwork is there isn't a lot of utilities around the artwork. So you can't use it for anything else. Basically, it's just going to sit in your wallet, right? But compared to NFT game asset, it's completely different. So it's still like a ERC 721 token, but it just has a lot of utility. It has a whole ecosystem built around the NFT so that you can use it every day to play the game, whether it's going to earn you money or not. Because sometimes that people are just using some of these NFTs to kind of show it off to other people. Like, I actually own a piece of this game, and it's one of the rarest game asset that I own. So if you look at the community built around the in-game asset NFT, it's also going to be way larger compared to artwork-based NFT because everyone's going to be talking about these games and playing these games every day. So yeah, I think from the perspective of the utilities around the NFT of game-based NFT compared to other form of NFTs, it's just that the engagement is way larger.
I want to say this, Sean. You said something a while ago when people were selling their in-game items or their account. You know what's so revolutionary about NFTs? It's this, because what's so amazing about the blockchain is you don't have to trust the other party. Now suddenly I can sell my NFT to another person that I don't totally know, and I am sure that if I sell it at this price, it will be reflected that I could get that actual amount, because that alone is an amazing use case already of NFT. Because when you pay someone for a traditional game, you're not sure if that person will run away with your money, or if that person
Yeah,
will run away with your skin or your in-game item. But right now, because it's in the blockchain, trustless, anyone can now transact. I don't need to trust the other person. All I need to know is that it's in the game, it's an NFT, and I can actually trace the transactions of that particular token. That alone makes it that makes it so amazing already.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm not even a gamer. I'm not even trivia Cliff. I've been inviting Sean to play StarCraft with me. He only played once. with me, and then
No.
we
What?
lost. We lost.
Uy, may nanalo na tayo, ah. More than one time. StarCraft 2, Cliff. You know, Galaga and StarCraft 2. So,
Contra, up, up, down, down, left, right, select, start.
Yeah, I'm glad that you play these RTX games before, because it's actually one of the most sophisticated kind of games that really use up a lot of your brain power. But yeah,
Mm.
it's fun.
yeah,
StarCraft is fun.
yeah. Macro game. So,
Protoss.
yeah. Yeah, we got shout outs here from SRAM. Harley Rosario, there you go. Bernie says, planning to invest. I hope I can learn from you guys. Hope you're learning so far. Hope you're learning so far. From Mac, antok na antok na. Ayan. Marvin, antok ka na raw.
No, it's hard. It's actually hard because I'm used to, I'm the one talking all the time, but now I have to pace myself also, and listen. So, so that's just it.
There you go. Gene, hello, hello. Pleasure to have you here. And for all of you listening, just want you to guys to know that we are giving away this shirt that I have. Says less of myself, more of a leader. Sorry, we've given this away already, so we're giving away the next one. And if you want to join that raffle, we're awarding the winners next Thursday, live as well. Just go to this link, leadme.ph/giveaway. There you go. The next question is, what are some of the upcoming blockchains that have good play to earn crypto games out there? So we have Ethereum. I think Axie is in Ethereum. Is that right? Yeah, and the gas fees is insane. It's crazy already. So what are some of the blockchains out there that have good upcoming play to earn games? Maybe like Axie. Because like a lot of our viewers here understand what Axie is, and when Axie was starting out, you'd make a much better return on your investment. And as the days and years go by, you would have better and better returns for your investment, because more and more people went ahead and played and invested in it. So, what are the up and coming games? Because that means if you enter relatively early, you're generally going to make more out of it.
Yeah, I mean, gas fee is definitely an issue that really bugs a lot of people. So you mentioned it rightly. So that's why actually switched to one of the Ethereum sidechain called, they have their own sidechain called Rollin, that kind of try to solve some of the gas fees issue. But even if you look at, for example, I know that there are a lot of games that are very popular on the Binance Smart Chain. So the gas fee is a lot lower on BSC. But the problem with a lot of those games on BSC is that the quality of a lot of BSC games are like not the kind of quality that you would expect kind of playing some of these conventional games that you play day to day. So that's why I think it's actually very difficult for these games, if not as a satisfactory quality, to really scale to millions of players like Axie. So that's why I think if you're really looking for like a Ethereum killer, having good projects building on it, have a look at the blockchain called Avalanche. Um, Avalanche is definitely the Ethereum killer. If you look from different perspective. So from the gas fee perspective, the transaction cost on Avalanche is super low. And on the other hand, it's in terms of the transaction speed, it's also way faster compared to Ethereum. Because if you look at the transactions per second that can be handled on the Ethereum, it's around 14 as far as I can remember. But on Avalanche, it's around 4,500 per second. So it's also way more secure compared to a lot of these other so-called Ethereum killer as well. Because if you look at the number of validators that are currently kind of on the Avalanche blockchain, it's more than 1,000 already. So it's decentralized enough that the security side of things, you don't have to worry about it. So that's why the ecosystem of Avalanche, or just call it AVAX, grew a lot, especially in the past few months, since they launched this program to called Avalanche Rush to support the development of the DeFi projects. And they recently announced a dedicated funding that's going to support the development of blockchain game as well. And I think currently there are around maybe more than 300 projects already building on
Wow.
Apex.
Wow.
So yeah, definitely watch out for it. I can certainly see that in the coming years, the number of users or the number of wallets that you're gonna have on Avalanche is gonna exceed. It's gonna be way more than Ethereum, because Ethereum it's way too slow in terms of transitioning to this proof of stake model, Ethereum 2.0. They have talked about it for a really long time, but in terms of execution, it's not really done in the best way. So that's why do watch out for AFAX. Because at the same time, it's also EVM compatible, which means it shares the same underlying infrastructure with Ethereum as well as Binance Smart Chain as well. So in terms of porting the existing projects to Avalanche or sharing the same wallet infrastructure, because you can use MetaMask to connect to the Avalanche blockchain as well. So that actually makes things easy, not only for the perspective of the developers, but also from the user as well. Because there are some other blockchains out there that they are also very fast, low cost transaction, but they are not compatible with the Ethereum virtual machine. So that's why, yeah, to watch out for what's coming in the AFAX space.
I want to ask this to Cliff. Let's continue to go under the hood of Avalanche. And you mentioned something very good. Ethereum is slow because it's using proof of work. Cardano is in proof of stake. What's the consensus mechanism of Avalanche, and what for people watching? What allows it to have around 5,000? Because I think Cardano's just around 250 transactions per second as of this point.
Yeah, I think if you look at the background of the team behind Avalanche, they are just they just have a lot of knowledge around these consensus mechanism, as well as something that really makes sense. Because there are usually these problems where when you have more, as you kind of scale your blockchain, then it's difficult to kind of maintain the same level of security or the same level of decentralization, because usually decentralization and the transaction speed, it doesn't really go hand in hand. But Avalanche is actually solving this problem very well with their consensus model. So I think it's definitely going to be the blockchain that solve this problem, but at the same time, easy for the developers to port over, and because it's EVM compatible. So yeah, I'm actually super optimistic about what's gonna happen to the Avalanche space.
And
So
and
how
it's
do
so
you? Yeah,
I
go
don't
ahead.
no, go ahead.
How do you? Ikaw ba, Marvin? Did you buy Avalanche Avax already? Are you there?
I'm starting to. What's interesting though is the price has gone up a lot over the past months already, and when it, from a buying standpoint, it would be good also to pick your spots that you build volume also on projects that you really like as well. So for Avalanche, my biggest mistake in Avalanche was I should have it's always a question. I should have bought more early. I should have bought more earlier, or I should have took more time also to learn more about it, because in the world of cryptocurrencies, it's all about conviction, and having more conviction about a certain project will allow you to earn more. But I think what makes it interesting also right now is the market cap of Avalanche is right there as part of the top cryptocurrencies that we have. And the higher you go, the more stable you are also, and it gives a level of somehow um I would say it gives a level of certainty to investors that it won't be as volatile also compared to the ones that are lower in the rung of market caps. And it somehow gives a sense of stability. I'm not saying it we don't know where the direction will be over the next few months, but it's it for something to rise up the ranks, to go this high, it means that there really is a lot of development, and there's a lot of attention towards it as well, for it to be able to garner this large market cap already, from where we are today.
So is it something that you would consider as, you mentioned that it went as high as it did right now. It's pretty high right now, but is it really high? Would you consider this high considering that it's snowballing to having that much projects?
What's interesting about that is this. So the benchmark for everyone for smart contracts is Ethereum. If it will try to go for Ethereum or even Solana, then it has still a long way to go in terms of its upside. And if it's a question of Cliff nailed it properly already. Uh, it's about the ecosystem. It's about the network effects. The fact that there's a lot of programs and apps that are being built around it already speaks volumes, because you could have the best blockchain, but if nothing is built on top of it and no one's using it, then it won't have any value. The net worth of every network is the number of apps and people that are actually using it. That's why Facebook is valuable, because you have billions of people logging in on it on a daily basis. In the same way, that's how I see Avalanche. More and more people logging in, more and more people using it, the more valuable it becomes as well, and more people building on it too.
So for people who want to get into it, what's the best way
Uh, Cliff, or is that for me? For Cliff?
for both of you?
Feel free to take it first.
The easiest is just to open via an exchange. There's a lot of exchanges available there, and when you get it via an exchange, it's still one of the cheapest ways, lower transaction fees, and it's easy. There's a lot of on ramps from fiat to that particular cryptocurrency. So there, that's
Yeah.
my answer.
Yeah, and then just in terms of using, if you want to play that game on the Avalanche blockchain, it's also relatively easy because, as I said before, Avalanche is EVM compatible, so you can actually use your same MetaMask account, just like how you connect your MetaMask account to BSC. You just have to add a custom network and then just follow the instructions that you definitely find online. And yeah, you will be able to share the same BSC account or Ethereum account when you're connecting to the Avalanche protocol. So of course, the Avalanche network uses AVAX tokens as the native token for the gas fees. So you do need a certain amount of AVAX tokens to pay for the gas fees. But it's relatively easy. Like if you have like a centralized exchange account like Binance, so what you just have to do is to purchase some AVAX on Binance and then withdraw that to your Avalanche wallet through the Avalanche C chain withdrawal. Because Binance actually already support withdrawing AVAX to, because there are actually different chains called X chain and P chain and C chain on the Avalanche blockchain, which I'm not going to go into detail today. But the contract chain that you usually going to be using, the most common chain that you're going to be using on Avalanche is called the C chain. So you can already withdraw the AVAX that you purchased on Binance to your C chain, because I think Binance did that integration 2 months ago. So it's very fast. You can try it out, and then I think in less than 1 or 2 minutes, then the AVAX will arrive at your Avalanche wallet.
And it's very cheap. For
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you use something Ethereum based, you need to send a larger amount of money for it to be worthwhile.
Yeah, and Avalanche has all these infrastructure, like it has its own decentralized exchange, so you can use it whenever you have AVAX in your Avalanche wallet. You can easily swap it to other tokens, because usually a lot of GameFi projects, they have their native token as well. So you have to swap your AVAX into those native tokens before you can use the native tokens to start playing the games. But it's just a painless process. It's similar to what you're doing on PancakeSwap or Uniswap. So everything is just the same.
And I like what Cliff said about Ethereum earlier, is that since Ethereum was earlier, all of the newer projects similar to Avalanche, they got to build on the the previous infrastructure, and then they also were able to make it better, something like that. So for those who are watching from the Philippines, it's just like look at an Ayala Land project in the 1990s versus an Ayala Land project in 2001 versus the new ones right now. It somehow evolves also because there's a lot of new learnings that could be tweaked along the way. So I think that's what makes it exciting, Sean, based on your question.
Yeah. Well, 50 minutes just flew by, and we're down to our last couple of minutes. A lot of you guys who are watching here, I know you got some wallets. I know some of you play FC. I guess Cliff, maybe you'd want to share a little bit about what you're working on. I know you're spearheading a project which is a GameFi project, and it is um, going to be built on Avalanche as well because it's a
Yeah,
very smart move. Yeah,
yeah,
why don't you give some of our listeners here a bit of information about that so that they could also kind of get in pretty early. For those of you who are into crypto games, you might be interested about this, and you might want to share this video right now. Right now, this is the last 10 minutes. You might want to share it right now to some of your friends and family who maybe got in a bit too late in Axie. Maybe they're not making that much, or that maybe they're not making good ROI right now. You might want to share this with them.
sure. So the project that I'm building is called Imperium Empires. It's actually the first AAA quality metaverse that is building on the Avalanche blockchain. And yeah, actually, as I said before, it's aiming to really solve a couple of problems that I see in the crypto gaming market. Firstly, of course, it's in terms of the quality of the games that I see there. A lot of them are really not the kind of quality that you will enjoy playing the same game every day, right? But what I do is actually I spend a lot of time to build a team that has a lot of game development experience. So my team actually has already produced 8 games before in the past 12 years, having a total player base of over 7 million players worldwide. So that's why
Wow.
they do have the experience to really build a game that is good enough, that is fun enough for everyone to play, not just in terms of the play to earn aspect. And then part of my team also came from used to work with the parent company of Animoca Brands, which is one of the largest blockchain gaming company in the world now. And one of my team also used to work with Tencent. So we actually have people coming from the largest blockchain gaming company as well as the largest gaming company in the world. So
Yeah.
yeah, what we're trying to do is a space metaverse. So it's kind of like a RTS, like third person RTS game where you're gonna be controlling a fleet of spaceship and then kind of occupying these different regions in a metaverse. So it's gonna feature both PvE and PvP elements. So it really depends on your appetite. If you're not the kind of person that you want to fight with other players, you can always do these daily missions like asteroid mining, space exploration, trying to find these rare NFTs out there in the space. And yeah, it's just there are just so many options for you to do in our metaverse. And of course, we have a very special players versus players system where we could divide our metaverse into different zones. So some of the zones, it's a safe zone where no battle is going to be allowed. Some of the zones, it's like you can go on PvP because some of the players definitely they want to have these high stakes PvP battle with other players, right? And some of your NFTs can actually be damaged or destroyed especially when you go to these high risk zones and kind of fight with other players. So it's something that is really exciting. We spend a lot of time to think about how to build great game mechanics as well as tokenomics around this game. Because as I mentioned before, you look at other NFT game projects, they basically don't have any NFT burn mechanism embedded in the game. So that definitely going to lead to the blow up supply of the NFTs. But our NFT burn mechanism of having these space battles is basically how we're going to be solving these hyperinflationary NFT supply problem. And then one exciting thing about our metaverse game, it's also we're going to have this concept called team to earn. where I think play to earn is just the beginning, right? But ultimately, nowadays, gaming is actually a social experience. It's way
Yeah.
more than just playing your game. It's about um, enjoying that experience with your friends. So we're going to feature a very comprehensive guild management system where you can actually play the game together with your friends. And then you can imagine how exciting it's going to be having these guild battles, guild wars that's going to involve thousands of players fighting with one another. So yeah, that's definitely something that we have in mind. Yeah, but of course, this is what I'm going to say. It's going to be it's going to take NFT games to the next level. We're going to embed all of these elements that are popular in the traditional game space into an NFT game. So in the eyes of the players, it's just going to be a really fun game to play with your friends. But at the same time, there are play to earn and team to earn opportunities. So I think that's really kind of take the blockchain gaming space to the next level.
Mm.
Wow. And this is it, right? Imperium Empires. This
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
project you're working on. And
yeah,
now,
exactly.
like, for are there people who can invest in it already, right? So maybe that, that's one of the things that a lot of people are kind of regretting right now. Like before, when people would say, "Oh, there's like a new crypto game called Axie Infinity, and it's not yet launched," and people would regret it now because like it's extremely big, a lot bigger than Ubisoft. And what I'm wondering about here is there a way for people to get into it as early, or when's the earliest time that people can get into maybe playing the game or investing in the game um, that you're building right now?
Well, of course, we're going to do our public round later down the road, but it hasn't been announced yet. So I don't want to give out any leaks here. But yeah, stay tuned for our announcement. So I think if you're interested in learning more about Imperial Empires, what you can do is definitely just follow our socials. You can go onto our website. We've got Twitter, Telegram, as well as our Medium channels there. So yeah, just to keep an eye on what we're going to be announcing down the road.
How,
Awesome.
how long does it take to make an amazing game? What's a so at least people can make. I'm asking this question so that people can avoid being scammed, because there are some games that it's just done in a few weeks and then it's already done.
Yeah,
A triple A game, how long's the time, effort, and the blood, sweat, and tears before it comes into life?
definitely. It really takes a lot of time, especially to kind of build a team that have the right skill set to build like a AAA quality game. For example, we started developing the game since June this year already. So it's already a few months in terms of working on the game. And our team size already, it's a team of 40 already. Because some of us work on a
Wow.
full-time basis. Yeah, some of them work on a part-time or contractor basis. But it really takes a lot of manpower, especially perfecting our art team, because for some of the assets that you've seen, they actually all of them are in-game assets. It's not like we just have some asset that we're gonna put some cinematic effects on it and it only looks like so and it's in the trailer. But all of these are actually we take these footages directly inside our game engine. So yeah, it really takes a lot of efforts. I wouldn't say it's gonna take a long time to do the game because it it's just that finding the right people who can have that skill set to help you build a game is actually the most important thing. If you can't build the right team, whether you're gonna spend 10 mil USD or 10 years down the making, you still can't really produce the game that to such a quality that really meet the AAA criteria.
Mm. And I just want to say this. I want to commend Cliff and their entire team for doing this, because to be able to form that a good team right now. I don't know if you know this, Sean, or people watching. Uh, because of games being so in demand, it's so hard to get people. It's so hard to get people that are into blockchain, gaming, and NFTs. Good people are hard to find. Are hard to find right now because they're so in demand. So there, congratulations, congratulations.
It sounds like you tried, Marvin.
No, no, it's really easy. You can see it from everywhere. It's just really it's really there's a I think there's a glut in it, in the
Yeah,
number, in the demand versus the people that are highly skilled for it.
yeah. There's just so many games right now being launched in the metaverse. What's your opinion, Cliff? I guess this might be a last question. What's your opinion on Facebook getting into it, the metaverse, everything, crypto gaming?
I think it's really a piece of good news that some of these big techs also they see the future is going to be the metaverse. But my take on this is the metaverse probably is not going to be something built by like a centralized platform where like this company is going to keep all the users' data, not allowing the users to build on top of that. So that's definitely not going to be the way to go because all of these Web 2.0 concepts, I think it's already outdated. I think the future is really Web 3.0 concept where you're actually allowing people to build on top of your metaverse. It's also about the front end interface as well. It's probably not going to be a like social media platform. It's actually going to be a gaming interface. I'm not sure whether you watch this movie called Ready Player One. I think it's you definitely the metaverse is going to be a gaming interface where the game is just so fun, and then every player they will contribute to building the game, making it better, and then get their friends to come into the game as well. So eventually, it's gonna the viral effect. It's gonna make the metaverse using this gaming interface become an indispensable part of everyone's life. So I think that is the way of how you build a metaverse rather than having a centralized management sitting in the boardroom and then just thinking about what everyone's going to do in the metaverse crafted only by them.
Yeah, yeah, that was
While,
a pretty good movie and actually pretty good depiction of what's happening. No,
while,
Ready
Yeah.
while
Player.
Cliff was talking, I was getting my VR. I just wanted to say,
I
it's
have
the
one as well.
future. It's the future.
Okay ba? Okay ba?
Yeah, yeah,
How
super,
many hours
super,
do you?
super.
How many hours can you do? Can you use that?
I haven't used it for so long. It's relatively new, but yeah, Cliff is correct. Because because of cryptocurrencies, it allows it to be decentralized. There's no one single entity that owns everything. And I like the concept where you can use the same NFT and move to different metaverses. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Right.
feeling.
So I'll see you in the metaverse.
Marvin is a multi-billionaire already.
No,
So,
it's fake news, guys. Fake.
but yeah, so guys, hey, if you learned from this about crypto gaming, how a lot of them actually in yeah, maybe the crypto game you've invested in right now, maybe the one you're playing, it's not really that sustainable if it doesn't have a PvP or player versus player element because everything's just being minted. It's gonna inflate, it's gonna bloat, and if there's no PvP element, the money you're earning is coming straight out of the developer's pocket or the stakeholders' pocket. So it's a zero sum game. No one wins. You got to think about the sustainability of the game, especially if you're thinking about quitting your day job or you're thinking about doing it full time or you're thinking about investing in so much money in it. Maybe you're getting scholars to play for you. You know, that's uso na yan eh. You have to think about the sustainability of the game. It can't be a short term fad or a short term way for you to live life. And then after that, bridge 2 to 3 years where you did nothing but play a game. What happens to your CV, your resume? How do you get back to the real world if you need to? You know, people gotta eat, right? So you gotta think about longevity. You gotta think about the long game always. And Cliff mentioned Imperium Empires. It's a project he's working on. He's the CEO. He's spearheading this. 40 people, and some of them are Tencent developers. Tencent being, I think, one of the most popular game developers out there. They definitely got my money because I've, invested in some of their games, and I also hold Tencent shares. So, that's very good that you got people working with you from Tencent and in and working on Imperium Empires and guys, as he has mentioned earlier, stay tuned for the launch of this game. You know, if you guys were one of the people who first got into these big crypto games right now, and I keep saying actually because that's what most people here in the Philippines are familiar with, you'd be retired by now. You know, you'd be retired by now if you got in early. And this is something that he's building, hasn't launched yet. You could get in early. I might have to announce that in my page because this is where you guys heard it from. So we're gonna announce it when it's out and when you can actually invest in it or start playing the game if you want to play it. That said, thank you so much, Cliff, Master Marvin. Thank you for being here. I know your time is super precious. 1 hour of your time is worth like 10 million pesos already. I'm so happy that you got to spend that 10 million right here with us. I'm grateful for that. Ikaw ba, Master, how many crypto games have you invested in already? Yung mga ganito, yung mga pa-launch pa lang.
Mm, there's a lot that Cliff mentioned that you could buy via Dexes in BSC. So I tend to buy bits and pieces of that as well. Then the ones that are listed in the exchange, I would buy most of that. So how do I say this? I like Gala Games also. They're listed already in a lot of exchanges. Then of course you have the normal AXS token. Then you have Sand token as well. I don't know if you've seen this, but MBox also was pretty well over the past few days. But so my style is I'm sharing a bits and pieces of my style. Um, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then some other smart contract blockchains form a big part of my core holdings. And then I'm okay buying a lot of the other games as part of it to somehow diversify. So when you ask a question, do I dabble in some other games? I do because it's just nice to because there's so much, and it's nice to have bits and pieces of other things also. So there.
When you say bits and pieces, is it like 10-20% of the market cap?
No, when I say bits and pieces, like $5, $2, $1. So that's small. That's small. That's small.
How do you keep track of all of these investments you're doing? Especially, there's no really one, ledger way to keep track of all of these investments that you're doing.
Uh there are some that the smaller ones I don't really keep track anymore. I don't keep track because it's when you build a portfolio, it will really be the ones that you have a larger volume in it. So for example, if Bitcoin drops, it will heavily affect my crypto holdings because I have more Bitcoin still. So it's still about weighing your portfolio, and if as long as it's weighed according to your conviction and your core positions, you should be okay with that. The problem with putting a lot of Bitcoin in your core portfolio is it doesn't give you a much more alpha, meaning movements upward. So if you notice it from the drop last June, Bitcoin went to around 28,000, went to around 69,000. But if you looked at the other altcoins during that period, Avalanche went up very well, Solana went up very well in the same time frame where Bitcoin just moved from 28,000 to 69,000. So that's a trade-off. Bitcoin will give you bits and pieces of stability, but it won't give you to a lot of people it's not anymore as in terms of upside compared to the other altcoins or a lot of the smart contract blockchains that are available.
Spoken like a true billionaire. Don't keep track already. You don't, like, I don't know who says that. I keep
fake,
track of all of the
fake,
stuff I
fake news.
buy. But yeah, anyway, Master Marvin, super thank you. I learned a lot. Cliff, thank you. I learned a lot. And for those of you tune in, please stay tuned when Imperium Empires will launch, and we will let you know when you can invest in that. What do people need to do right now, Cliff, for them to be ready? Right, when the moment we announce that it's launched, what do they need? What do they need to prepare for?
I think just for those that don't really have a centralized exchange account, maybe just get one like Binance first, and then start getting some AVAX tokens and kind of have a wallet ready on MetaMask, so that you can actually withdraw some of these AVAX tokens and have it in your wallet first. And yeah, when the game is launched, then you will be able to swap the AVAX tokens into our native tokens, and yeah, so that is how you're going to be getting into the game later.
Got it. Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Leadership Stack Live. We're online 8 p.m. every Thursday night. Now we'll see you next week. By the way, if you haven't yet, please do join the giveaway. The link is down there. We're giving away the Leadership Stack t-shirts. Someone won this shirt today. Less of myself, more of a leader. Someone won this tonight. We're giving it away tomorrow. And we're running another giveaway. Another shirt. And that shirt says, can we roll that video? Can we roll that? There you go. Motion before emotion. Inspiration comes after you act. We're giving that away. All you need to do is join the giveaway raffle, and you're in. So, guys, thanks so much. Please do share this video if it added value to you. Share it with friends and family. Subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Spotify. And I will see you guys next week, 8 p.m. Take care.